In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you. sky, gazing far into the night. I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, 'cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light shine through for you, for you, for you, for you, for you, for
Hello and welcome to the Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series for round 2 in Baku for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. My name is Exprit, and joining me in the commentary box for tonight's race, please welcome CurvingTexas.
Hello.
Hello.
All right. First GP for the Baku Grand Prix was in 2016. The circuit length is 6 kilometers. There are 20 corners around this track, 12 left and 8 right. Shall be interesting. We'll see some... Oh, okay. It's raining.
It's raining? Okay, so that's interesting.
It's raining.
Alright, so I guess we get...
I was going to say...
Sorry, you go.
I was going to say we'll get some good DRS runs down the straight, but if it's raining, never know.
So we're going to swap it over to the main screen. We're not going to read out the points just yet. We'll read that out in between the qualifying session and the sprint race. So actually, no, the feature race. Feature race is first. I corrected myself. So as you can see, it is actually raining. It doesn't look like it's heavy rain condition, so I believe they'll all be on intermediates. So hopefully it is dry for the race. We're just waiting on Iceman now to hurry up and confirm, but it looks like they are all going now. It's going to be a little bit hard to follow, so we're probably just going to have to stay on board here with down the race so the screen doesn't glitch out too much. But as they all now start their lap, there's obviously a one-shot qualifying in the F2 series. SidePod just confirmed for us, so wet qualifying and dry races, and you can see down the race, and nearly put it in the wall there in these slippery conditions. He's actually on wet, so that's interesting. Actually, a couple of drivers are, so Plebs is as well, so that's actually interesting. I'm going to go to the top just so we can get a better view. And it looks like, yeah, so all the drivers are on wets, I believe, at the stage. Yes, they are. That was completely on the left-hand side. I just didn't see it. So now head into turn 3. You can see very easy to lock up in F2 cars, especially also when you're going up gears, accelerating. It's very easy to spin the rear tires up, especially when you're in that 3rd and 4th gear. But obviously, Baku, CurvingTexas, is not the easiest tracks that the F1 goes to, let alone the F2. So what are some tips around here to make sure you keep it out of the walls, especially through the castle section?
I think just, obviously, especially in these wet conditions, you got to watch out and you got to have early braking, but you just got to know where your turn-in points are, especially coming up to this tight section here. You definitely can't take too much for granted coming into here, but as we've seen, yes, pretty certain everyone's made it fairly cleanly through here. But yeah, it's a matter of when to put the power on and stuff coming out of corners, what gear to be in, and most of the drivers obviously very good at that, to be here and be able to push on as well as they are.
Yeah, most definitely. So unfortunately, also just to point out as well, a couple of drivers that were unable to make it. VSR Roscoe will not be racing this afternoon. Unfortunately, I believe he's having a few internet issues, so unfortunately, he will not be racing. And Zach Crun will be joining us for the second race. He's currently busy at the moment, so he will not join us for the first race. But looks like Spilly and Todser have been swapping positions for the battle, or for the fastest lap at the moment, halfway between the laps. So Spilly leads as they head down the straight, but we'll have to see if Todser gets a little bit more straight line speed. They can't do anything now. They're up into the highest gear available in an F2 car, but I think Spilly's going to get this pole position here this afternoon, and he has. He's actually set it by a pretty comfortable margin.
Comfortably, yeah.
Exactly,
Geez.
0.8 of a second between himself and Todster, so Nice lap there from the Trident driver. Tods will come home P2 for the Vitersi team ahead of Crossy. Jay Schmidt, his teammate. So both, I can't even remember. I think that's the Sauber cars, that's right. So both the Sauber cars have done a really good job in the top 4 as well. Toes Rudy in P5 ahead of Breno. Gaming Wafer, Pure Gold, Kickbutt Kiwi down in P9. And running at your top 10 was a Campos car. I can't remember who it was. We'll confirm that for you in a second. Banana's giving us a prediction now. He reckons Toddy P1, Spilly P2. Give us your P3, Banana. Crossy P3, there you go. So, who was our top 10? And it was Alex96 and Zev for Campos. He rounded out the top 10. Dr. Dre in P11 ahead of Romeo Alonso, BK, Sidepod. Dan the Racer down in P15. P16 is the Arden driver, Lunacy ahead of Plevs. And then Iceman in P18. But we'll swap it over now real quick to the drivers' standings for you guys. As you can see at the moment, Jay Schmidt leads away on 39 points at the moment. 9 points separate himself and the Gaming Wafer behind him. Todd Stan P3 for the Vitersi team ahead of Pure Gold in P4, P5 Spilly, Zach Run 6, P7 Crossy F1, P8 BKXI for Campos, P9 Breno, and rounding out your top 10, the other Campos driver of Big Donga on 4 points. And then behind him is Kickbutt Kiwi, Iceman, Toes Rudy, Roscoe Arm, The Rock, James Cruz in 16th, False Equation 17th, Toto, Plebs, and Dr. Dre rounds out your top 20. So both the Premiers have failed to score points so far, so they're going to want to turn that around here this afternoon. But if you don't mind here, Texan, you want to read out the constructors' standings for us?
Yeah, comfortably in the lead at the moment, the Sauber junior team. Both drivers did pretty well in that first round. We saw Schmidt dominate most of the round. Second place, we got the ART Grand Prix team on 32 points. The Uni Virtuosi team in third on 29, just followed slightly behind by the Dams team on 27. We move back to fifth spot here with the Trident team on 12 points, and there's a nice little battle going on between Trident, Carlin, and Campos there. Carlin in sixth with 11 points, and Campos in seventh with 10. MP Motorsport have 1 point, and then Prema and BWT Arden both without a point scored.
So they will want it. Prema and Arden will both want to turn around those results here this afternoon. But let's quickly get your predictions here, Texas, for the Grand Prix, as I can see the drivers are now heading out for their formation lap. Who do you reckon is going to win the opening feature race here this afternoon?
I think Toddy's going to make his way through to the front here. I've got a feeling that he's got some pace there. It's hard to judge, especially with a wet qualifying session coming into a dry race, whether the qualifying positions will justify how fast they are. But yeah, I think it'd be interesting. I'm not too certain. I haven't had a look at the tyres. What do we got here? So yeah, they're running the super softs, but it's pretty mixed again. We saw this last week, and it'd be interesting. There's a few different long strategies, short strategies, but
so I think what the drivers
around
have
here, you just got to.
I think what the drivers have worked out, it's going to be a super soft to mediums, because obviously there's 3 tyres available. I think there's super soft, softs, and mediums it will be available to them, but by looking at what tyres everyone's starting on, I think it'll be a super soft to medium or a medium to super soft. So Todd's obviously is on the medium tyre, so he's actually on the hardest tyre, and Spilly's on the softest tyre, so I wouldn't be surprised here if we do see Spilly pull away at the start of the Grand Prix. Obviously off the start line as well, because he is on that softer compounder tyre. He'll just have so much more traction compared to the Vitersi driver behind him. But also the two Campos drivers, the two Sauber drivers are on a different strategy. Crossy's on the super softs and the mediums are on Jay Schmidt's car, so I have to see what those two opt to do as well.
Yeah, and same thing with the I can't exactly remember what team that is, to be honest.
What driver?
The Carlins, Breno and Pure Gold.
Breno and Pure Gold are in the Dams team.
The Dams team, yeah. So they've gone opposite strategy as well. They're in 6th and 8th. So considering they're fairly close on the racetrack, I think it's a good idea that they've run opposite strategies. We might see a bit of a problem with the two Campos cars there. Alex and BK, both on the super softs and not too far away from each other, but it's a matter of keeping it out of the wall here and just
surviving lap 1.
Yeah, that's it.
Especially for the
as you've just seen, I just saw someone there on the warm-up lap just hit the wall. I'm not too sure exactly what driver that was.
So fortunately, you don't get damaged on the formation lap. We've seen that. Yeah. I saw that in Pacific Series as well. I can't remember who, but someone binned it at Belgium at the top of the hill, heading down the Kemmel Straight for the Pacific Series on their formation lap. He was trying to weave his tyres or something. I can't remember. I think it was a Ferrari. I can't remember who, but anyway. as the drivers are now about to form up on the grid. We'll be waiting for Iceman. He's actually well, he's not too far back, but it's going to make Spilly and Todsa wait that little bit longer than I think they would like to. We're going to swap this over now to position change so you can see where everyone's going. So Banana K Pie is our first and only prediction so far in the chat, so let's get some more in the chat predictions. Thank you guys so much for joining as well. We've got 25 viewers at the moment. Cheers guys, thanks for joining the stream. To the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series round 2 at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, but the light sequence is now beginning for the drivers. They have 5 red lights ahead of them, and they are underway, and it looks like Todster gets a pretty nice start. He's actually had a pretty nice start considering the tyres that he's on, and Spilly's just got a lot of oversteer off the line. It looks like Crossy's also trying to stick his nose down there on Spilly as well. He's going to go down the inside, and there's a Campos at the back spun round. That looks like it's Alex, but it looks like Todster will lead heading into turn 2. He's going to try and push Crossy out wide, and they make contact. There did Crossy. He was put in the wall by Todster. He tried to hang it around the outside, but I think he will have front wing damage to potentially his right end plate. So now Spilly gets himself back up into the top 2. There's a lot of swapping around at the back here. That looks like that's Dan the Race. Actually, not Dan the Race, a Gaming Wafer going at it with Jay Schmidt. Jay Schmidt's had a very poor start. He's dropped all the way back down to P5. Toes Rudy's done a really good job. He's up to P4 as well in this Grand Prix. Kick by Kiwi and Breno now swap positions. Someone I think has a puncture, I believe that's actually Breno may even have a puncture. You know, I think it might just be a little glitch on my view, but anyway, we'll continue on.
Yeah.
We've got a massive battle going on here. That was Dan the Racer trying to stick his nose there down the inside of Breno, I think, and he's just lost up massively. Has the MP Motorsports driver. He's all the way back down to P15 now, so Dr. Dre's down at the rear, and that's Alex. Was that Alex? I can't even remember. It's glitching out at the moment for me. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's Alex.
Yeah, so Todster leads away at the moment as they head into, or are about to cross over into the final sector. Spilly P2 ahead of Crossy, Toes Rudy, Jay Schmidt, and I think that's Rami Alonso's gone for Arden. He has, and there's a massive crash between himself and Sidepod, so unfortunately for Sidepod, for the second time this season, he has unfortunately crashed out on the opening lap. He did that in Bahrain in the same race, the feature race. So unfortunately, that's really hurt him. I can hear myself echoing. I've muted myself. Anyway, they're continuing on now. Todser still leads away, but it looks like Spilly's going to have a very nice toe heading down this straight. He might try and stick his nose down the inside. Todster defends the inside line. They're going to go side by side, heading down the main straight. Spilly actually was ahead when they crossed the line, so he set the fastest lap of 59.7, so it's a very long lap time around here for F2 cars, and he goes around the outside. Does Spilly on Todster, and he gets the move done into the lead, and it looks like Crossy's trying to stick his nose down the inside of Todster as they head into turn 2, and he's not able to get the job done, but this battle for the lead is definitely not over yet.
Yeah, it's looking like it's pretty well done there from Spilly, especially with that. He had that extra grip around the outside on the super soft, so now he's got some room in front of him. See if he can pull away here and use that tyre advantage while it lasts.
Yeah, definitely. Look, Toes Rudy's definitely done. He's started P5, but him and Schmidt have both swapped positions, so the Sauber driver's lost a spot to the Carlin driver in front, I believe.
Oh, we just had a car in the background go off there. I think that was the Gaming Wafer.
Yes, it was a Gaming Wafer, actually. So, actually, no, he's continuing on still. So, he's going side by side now with Pure Gold as they head into this double right in. He's really deep under brakes. He's locked the inside front. Do they make contact? No, Pure Gold does a very nice job there to avoid the car in front of him. I'm not even sure what car that. I think that's ART. The Gaming Wafer's in, I believe. As they continue now.
I think you're right.
Yeah, so now Gaming Wafer's going to hold on to P6 Plebs, and Sidepod are now swapping positions, and it looks like the Prema driver's now up into the top 14. I think he also made contact there with Sidepod. Unfortunately, he tried to keep his nose out of the Trident driver, but unfortunately that kind of hurt him more than anything. I think he actually has more damage. He has no end plate on the left-hand side. He has not got a left end plate there, has the Trident driver. So now to Lunacy and Iceman will pretty easily get ahead. Dr. Dre, I think, has made a pit stop already in this Grand Prix, so his strategy is not going to be ideal for him, as you just saw him there on the right-hand side of your screen. But they're about to cross. Well, they're heading down the main front straight now. They were about to start lap 3 of 15, so it's going to be a pretty long race here in this feature race. Obviously, the sprint race, I believe, will be 12 laps around here. I think that's correct. But anyway, I'll have to see how that pans out. Spilly still leads the way at the moment. He's got 0.6 of a second between himself and Todd. So DRS will now be enabled, as you saw the stewards confirm that at the bottom of your screen. So Todster and Crossy will both get DRS here. So this will only help the Vitersi driver catch up to the Trident in front of him. Unfortunately, one Trident's had a really good start to the race and the other is down in P17.
Yeah, and I noticed that Plevs and Iceman had both made up. I think Iceman was up about 7 positions from the rear of the grid at one point, and Plevs was up 4. I think it was 4 or 5. But I believe they had a bit of contact between them, and Iceman's dropped all the way back down to 16th. Plevs is slowly making his way back up. He's into 13th again and closing the gap to Romy. But apart from that, BK has come up 5 positions from 13th to 8th, and he's got to see if he can close this gap into Pure Gold here. But
so also as
he's
well,
sort of.
Sorry, you go.
Yeah, he's sort of on his own there, and he's a little bit lost. He's not getting much toe, and it's really going to affect him down that front straight, I believe.
Yeah, so Plevs has also made a move then on Dan the Racer, who did have a little battle there with Romy Alonso heading into turn 2, but unfortunately just was a little bit too eager on the gas pedal, and he just spun up the rears, and that really hurt him. He got a very poor run onto the DRS straight, and Plevs got ahead of him pretty easily. Didn't even have DRS, and Dan the Racer did, so that really hurt his tire. That will definitely hurt his tires a little bit here, but Spilly's actually starting to pull away now from Todd, so he's got 1.1 seconds between himself and the Viterci behind him. But how do you say it? I heard, how were you saying it?
I don't know, I think it's Virtuosi.
Something
like that.
Yeah, okay. Something along those lines. But Crossy now is trying to make a move on Todster heading into turn 1. He looks like he's going to get it done pretty easily. Obviously, Todster does not have DRS. Crossy sets the fastest lap as well. Will Todster dive back down the inside? No, he won't. He's going to wait for DRS. Potentially even make a move again back on the Sauber driver heading into turn 3. He's right under that gearbox. He's trying to get a nice run. He's right there. He's not going to be able to get it though. Crossy had a very nice run on the exit of turn 2, so he's going to now have his eyes on Spilly in front. He's got that. He's actually got DRS there at Crossy, so he's now within that 1 second range to Spilly, so he will be getting a nice toe down the main straight if he can keep within that 1 second. Toes Rudy's still holding on to P4 ahead of Schmidt. P5 Gaming Wraith is still in P6. He's right on the rear now of Schmidt. Pure Gold in P7 for Dams. BK in P8. P9 kicked by Kiwi. And then Pure Gold's teammate of Breno in P10.
Yeah, so as you've seen, the 2 super soft drivers, Spilly and Crossy, have made it to the front. So Todd's not in too bad of a position there, considering he is on those mediums. So as long as he hangs in there, I think he'll have a pretty good run here, and his late race will be pretty much going to plan as he's liked.
Yeah. So we've actually got everyone's still in the Grand Prix, so that's quite surprising considering it's Baku. And everyone was real close in lap 1, and we haven't had a safety car yet, and I think only 2 people have pitted so far, and that's Dr. Dre 3000 down in P17 and Very Angry Sidepod for Trident. So it hasn't been a bad start so far. We've got another prediction in the chat. Shane Clark reckons Tots is going to win the Grand Prix. He unfortunately hasn't had the best of starts to his first stint here. Obviously, they all need to make a pit stop, so all these super soft run. Actually, we have to see here because Spilly is on a different tyre at the moment. I've completely forgot about that. So that's why Crossy and Spilly have gone ahead of Todster, because he's on the hardest compound at the moment compared to Spilly and Crossy. So we'll have to see when these two opt to come in, but Todster will be staying out for quite some time as well. And it looks like now Todster...
There we go, there's a move.
Spilly and Crossy are now getting reckless here, as it looks like Spilly got a very nice crossback. Crossy got the move done down the inside of turn 1, but Crossy I think is going to back out of it here and wait for DRS. I'm not too sure if he got it or not. We'll have to see who got it. It was Crossy, so now he's going to have a nice run. He's going to slot back into the slipstream, but he's actually gone.
3 wide.
3 wide, actually, is it? Oh, nearly. So Todster tried to stick his nose down the middle of Crossy and Spilly, but he thought better of it. It's probably the smarter decision there from the Virtuosi driver. I'm going to say that wrong every time, but Spilly now still trying to fight back from Crossy. Crossy locks inside front, and Spilly gets a very nice run there on the exit of turn 5 rather. Will he get the job done? Spilly does, sorry. So he's going to get himself back up into the lead of the Grand Prix, but obviously it's not the most ideal spot to be when you exit that final sort of corners or heading into the final sector, because you will not have DRS available to you heading down that main front straight, and it's just so powerful, especially DRS and slipstream in this game heading down that main straight as they now head into the castle section. Spilly nearly puts it in the wall. He's trying to be as millimetre perfect here is the Trident driver, but he continues on in the lead of the Grand Prix. Todster is holding on to P3, but we're not really expecting him to make moves at the moment considering the tyre he's on. Toes Rudy's should be catching up to this pack real quick as well. Obviously, because it was an a wet qualifying session, all these drivers did start on a fresh set of tyres, There's a little battle here also starting to form between Schmidt and Pure Gold. So we'll have to see how this goes at the end of the straight. Pure Gold just showing Schmidt the nose there heading into that corner. I need to bring up the corner numbers because I'm always going to get that wrong, and I keep thinking that's the final corner, but it's really not. There's 20 corners in this racetrack, so that will be turn 17, I believe that will be. Well, I'll confirm that for you.
Yeah, you kind of expect it to, on other tracks, coming onto the final straight, you expect that to be, and there we go. Both the front two, 3 out of the front 4 have just ducked into the pits.
Sorry, Spilly's just been invalidated for speeding there. You can see he's very deep in the pit lane. He tried to use the turning there just to slow him down, but unfortunately that wasn't enough, and now he has a 5-second penalty he'll have to owe at the end of the race. So I'm not too sure if his team will serve it here or not. But you know he continues, so he will come out ahead of Crossy in the pits. A lot more drivers will be boxing now, and all the medium runners will be staying out for a little bit longer. So Todster has now been put up into the lead of the Grand Prix ahead of Pure Gold P2. P3 is Schmidt, and Pure Gold actually got the move done on Schmidt there, so now up ahead of the Sauber driver he goes. The Gaming Way for 4 ART's right there as well. He's going to try and make any move possible on these two battling, or take any advantages of these two battling. Alex has actually continued on the super soft tyre, so I probably would have thought he would stay, come into the pits and just react to everyone else, but he may even be trying to overcut someone. We'll have to see where he comes out, but Dr. Dre's now making a move on Dan the Racer. Actually, no, he hasn't, because Dan the Racer's in the pits. Never mind about that. So Dr. Dre now, who has made a pit stop, and he's got to try and get these mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. He's down in P14, right behind his teammate of Plebs in P13.
I'll tell you who that that decision by Alex is going to affect. It's going to affect Spilly and Crossy here. They're going to get caught up behind him through this middle sector, because there's not much overtaking opportunities, and that's only going to play into Todd's hands.
Yeah, definitely. Nearly hit him there, did Spilly. He's right. He's pretty much pushing Alex. He actually just gave him a little love tap there, did Spilly, but you can see the more amount of grip he has compared to Alex there does Spilly, and he's going to get that move done pretty easily. It was a little bit of a bump and run, but they're not really racing cool position here. If I was Alex, I personally would have got out of the way just so that I didn't really get held up in these two battle pack, and he's actually run really wide, and he's into the wall now.
And that's a puncture as well.
It's a puncture for Alex, is it? He's continuing on.
Front right.
Actually, yes, it is a puncture. So unfortunately for the Campos driver, he was going to pit this lap anyway, so it won't cost him as much time as if he wasn't to make a pit stop, but he's going to be really slow all the way down this straight, unfortunately, is the Campos driver. He's not going to be able to turn.
Out of the way.
And he will have to change his front wing. He'll have to change his front wing because he does have damage to that front wing as well. I saw a little bit of it come off, so that's unfortunate now for the Campos driver of Alex. He'll need to come into the pits this lap. He is the last driver actually on that super soft tyre, so everyone will be on mediums when they come out, but they're obviously all different ages compared to each other. So the top 5 at the moment are all on mediums that they start the race on, and then then Spilly, Crossy and Toe is Rudy behind them in P6, 7 and 8 are all on fresh medium. So we'll have to see if Todster does get undercut here, but obviously when it comes towards the end of the race, he will be on that fresher and softer tyres, so he probably will get ahead of these guys pretty easy.
Yeah, I'm not too sure exactly what's happened to Toes Rudy here. He was definitely a lot closer before they came into the pits as well. He only was, I think he was within 2 seconds of the leaders when they were coming into the pits. He's now 6.3 seconds behind, so whether something's happened on his outlap where he had to change his wing, I'm not too certain.
So he's lost about 5 seconds, so has he maybe got, did he get a penalty maybe in the pit? Did he have a 5-second penalty he had to hold?
I'm not too sure. I'll have to double check.
Confirm that for us, yeah. You know, also confirm to see what Spilly, Crossy and Toddy are doing as well, just to see what the go is with those guys. But also we need to remember as well, for the people that aren't too familiar with how the F2 race format works, the top 8 the top 8 results will be reversed for the sprint race starting position. So Alex now has got a 3-second penalty down in position 14 for Campos, so unfortunately for him at this stage he will drop behind Romy Alonso. So do you have that confirmation there for us, Toddy? Sorry, not Toddy, Curving.
Yeah, no, Toes Rudy didn't have any penalty. He has 1 warning. Only drivers with penalties are both from speeding in the pit lane, and that is Plebs, who's sitting in 11th, and Spilly, who's in 6th. So that's going to hurt him come the end of the race, especially if there's a safety car around here. You don't want any penalties to affect you, especially with, there's not many corners you can cut in this one. Obviously we have just seen Alex receive a corner cutting penalty, but there's not too many corners which can allow for corner cutting and other warnings to add up.
Yep, and the ART driver as well has just got himself up onto the podium positions. Now he's got ahead of Jay Schmidt. I think he did the under and over there on the... I'm trying to think what car Schmidt's in. Sauber, that's right. So the Gaming Wafer now up in a P3, but I'm not too sure he will come out after the pit stops. Obviously, all the top 5 at the moment have not made a pit stop. They'll be out for a little while, so the super soft run has lasted around 5-ish or so laps, 5-6 laps, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Todster in maybe even next lap, maybe the lap after. We'll have to see when they all come in. I'm not too sure what the strategy is in F2. Don't know how they work.
Yeah, I think they should try and at least stay out to the 10th lap if we're going based on when the super soft runners pitted, and they were on fresh super soft, so it should be either lap 9 or lap 10. I'd say they'll come in. Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, Todster does have this gap on Pure Gold now of 5.5 seconds, so it's not going to affect him as such. It's just a matter of where he comes out in relation to Spilly, who is on fresher mediums, and whether that gap has closed.
So gap at the moment is 25 seconds at the moment dead. So 25 dead. So I have to see if Spilly's actually catching up. We'll confirm that for you next lap to see what time or what the gap is between the Vitersi.
Oh, and there we go.
Driver.
Pure Gold's just got a 3-second time penalty as well for multiple warnings.
I was just about to say, it seemed like Pure Gold was actually starting to catch up to Todster, so I believe that gap was around 7 seconds when the front two decided to pit. But now Schmidt and Gaming Wafer are going to go side by side, and it looks like the Sauber driver's now got himself back ahead of the Gaming Wafer heading into turn 2. He's really deep on the brakes on his Wafer, and he's giving him a touch, and Schmidt's into the wall. So unfortunately, Wafer's going to be picking up a penalty here. He's completely his fault, and now Schmidt does have front wing damage on that ART car, so he's really going to be hurt through this second sector. And if I was Gaming Wafer here, I'd definitely sit behind Schmidt. I wouldn't make a move, to be honest, just to try and keep it cool between those two, but I think he's definitely going to pick up a penalty here if Schmidt decides to report it. I'm not too sure if you saw it.
Yeah, unfortunate little incident there. You can definitely already see it affecting Schmidt as he drives through this middle sector as well. He's running kind of deep into corners and stuff. Just behind these guys, actually no, behind Kickbutt Kiwi, Crossy set the fastest lap. So Spilly and Crossy definitely are closing in. So once we get to that, once Todster gets to that finish line, we will confirm what the gap change was over this lap and just how far they might come out around each other.
Yep, so we'll have a quick look now to see what the gap is. So it was 25 seconds last lap, and now that gap is 24.7. So he's really not catching too quickly at the moment, is Spilly. So he's gained around 0.4 of a second, but obviously different parts of the racetrack will be different when you look at that. So we'll have to see. Jack Gills reckons Todster will be strong after he pits on Supersofts. He definitely will be. So we'll have to see. Pure Gold now into the pits, and Gaming Wafer and Schmidt are now trying to go into the pits. They're racing in the pits, and he's gone. Gaming Wafer has been reset to the track, and unfortunately for him, yeah, they tried to go side by side in the pits. One of them had to yield, but neither driver decided to. So unfortunately for the Gaming Wafer, he has no front wing. He's going to have to go around again with no front wing, and unfortunately for him, he's going to have to come back, go around the whole circuit. So he's going to have to do, how long is the circuit again? I've completely forgot.
6 kilometers.
So he's going to have to do full 6 kilometers around the circuit, and then also come into the pits, put on a new set of tires, change the front wing. So unfortunately for himself, his race is pretty much over, but I think you can take that one on the chin, considering he did kind of ruin Schmidt's race as well, that he gave the Sauber driver.
I think he's spot on there.
Yeah, so
and hopefully he gets out of the way of Spilly and Crossy here, who are coming up to him, because this is not a part of the circuit where you want to be held up behind someone who's got some damage or is a little bit slower.
But he's still continuing. This is obviously going to help Todster, if anything, because Gaming Wafer's really going to struggle through this next section. As you can see how much Spilly's catching up, but he's really wearing out those tyres at the moment. Spilly, last couple of times I've seen him go through this section, he's been really locking up those tyres, so it's not really ideal for him. You can see Spilly's right on the rear of him now. And you see how slow Gaming Wafer is. It's really not ideal for Spilly here, because Spilly cannot be held up whatsoever. It's just going to hurt his time so much. You can see Gaming Wafer, he actually had to brake there to Spilly to avoid him, and I think Crossy's going to get moved.
I don't think he's going to be very happy with that.
Yeah. Anyway, it's racing. It's not like there's blue flags or anything, so there's nothing wrong with it. So Crossy actually looks like he's trying to make a move now on Spilly. So even better for Tots if these guys start battling. That gap's actually now out to 25.6. So being held up there, that's actually helped Tots just a little bit. It's gained around a second after Gaming Wafer held those two up. So we could see a potential move here from Crossy. As you can see, he got a really poor exit there heading through that final chicane type section. Flat out in an F2 car as well, I believe. So we'll have to see how this goes. Crossy got a lot of understeer, so dirty air. So Tots is actually in the pits now. He's exiting the first turn, and he's actually going to come out in the lead here. So Tots has undercut both these drivers, and he's going to be on super soft tyres. So as Bernardo just said in chat, my prediction looking good right now. I think I completely agree with you, because I don't think Spilly and Crossy are going to be able to keep with Tots here, considering he's also in the lead.
Yeah, and you've got Pure Gold here, who the gap was 5 point something seconds when he came out of the pit. It's down to 2.2. He does have that penalty, but if he can get through on these drivers, he could definitely take that second place, I reckon.
So we need to remember as well, Spilly also does have that penalty he will have to owe at the end of the race, and Dr. Dre now down in position 11. He's actually just outside the points here, is Dre. He just got himself a penalty, but Plevs and BK are swapping positions, and now he's gone straight on, has Plevs. So unfortunately, he locked up all front tyres there, and he had to take avoiding action. He went down the escape road, and I think BK was half sticking his nose down there, but he wasn't really close enough. And I think Plevs just got off-put by that, and unfortunately had to go down the escape road. Now he's lost 5 positions there to Breno, Kickbutt, Kiwi, and Schmidt and BK.
Yeah, that is unfortunate for Plevs there. He's looking good, and especially since Prema are definitely looking for some points this racing weekend, which is a shame for them. Obviously, they are still sitting in the points here, and they've got Dr. Dre in 11th spot as well. So it's I'm not too sure how Dre's going to go on finishing here. He's done 9 laps on those mediums. Obviously, he did have a early pit stop with an incident. And had to change his wing, so it'd be interesting to see what he does here, whether he goes in and goes for the fastest lap just to take some extra points away for some other drivers, or but yeah, no, it'll be interesting. And up the front, Pure Gold is right on Crossy now.
So I'm going to try and bring up the point system here so I can read out to see what's going on with that, but we're going to put it to this battle so you can have a little bit of a watch on your screen. But it looks like Pure Gold is right on the rear now of Crossy as they exit turn 2. Crossy nearly hit the wall there on the exit of that second corner. They both will have DRS, but Pure Gold's a lot closer to Crossy compared to what Crossy is to Spilly, and he's going to go the outside line now. It's Pure Gold, and I think Crossy just let him go there. He knew that he wasn't going to be able to hold on to that, and the actually, is that Dams? Yes, it is Dams driver. So the Dams driver now gets himself up into the top 3. I'm not too sure what tyre is Pure Gold. He's on the super soft, so he's looking on for a potential P2 here. It's Pure Gold. They're on lap 12 of 15, so there's only a couple laps remaining in the Grand Prix. So we'll have to see how he goes. I think he'll pretty easily get ahead of Spilly, but either way, Spilly's going to drop behind because of that 5-second penalty.
Yeah, and that's it. And Pure Gold will be looking to get away from Crossy here, because he does have to get a 3-second gap for him to hold the position against Crossy there. But by the looks of it, Crossy's already dropped out of DRS. He's lost over a second now. It's down to 1.5 seconds behind, so really struggling here. I'm not sure if he's taken any damage through that tight section at all, but the gap's almost up to 2. Oh, and there you go! Pure Gold and Spilly have just had a collision there, and I believe there was a bit of wing damage there. I'm not too sure exactly what car it was from.
So Pure Gold's car looks fine, so I would assume it is Spilly, so he hasn't got a right end plate. He hasn't got an end plate on that Trident car, so unfortunately Trident are not going to be happy whatsoever. But I do now have for you guys, I can confirm what the points system is for Formula 2. I'll say this once and I'll try and remember it. So there's different points systems for feature race and sprint race. The feature race, the top 10 get points, and the sprint race, the top 8 get points. So 25 points for the winner in the feature race, and it goes 18, 15, 12, 10, 8, 6, 4, 2, 1. So that's kind of like the F1. That's pretty much is like the F1 point system. But then for the sprint race, you get, for the win, you get 15 points, second 12, third 10th, fourth 8th, fifth 6 points, sixth is 4 points, seventh is 2 points, and 1 point for 8th. But you also do get 4 points as well, I believe, for getting pole position. So that's some extra points there as well that you could potentially get. So that just makes it a little bit more, well, it just gives those drivers a little bit more motivation to go for pole position.
Yeah, and definitely considering the feature race, it does give out more points for a win than the sprint race. So you definitely want to do better in that feature race, and then obviously you'll be inside that top 8 if you finish inside the top 8 in the first race for the second race.
So I was just about to say here, sorry, BK and who's this going side by side? Breno. So BK and Breno have now swapped positions, but also Plev's just got the move done on BK as well. So
BK
Plev's
has some wing damage, I believe, as well.
Does he?
Right end plate? Yes, right end plate is missing.
So he did make a move there just on... So Plev's just made a move on him there, so I'm not too sure if those two collided or not, but Breno also got the job done up into P9, so Plev's is actually looking in a pretty good spot here. If he can hold on to this P8 here, or we could see he might... Oh, he's actually made a move there! Plev's in the wall, you can see it from way back there, he just locked the inside front, he's made another error. He has the Prema driver, so he's really struggling with lockups at the moment. He hasn't got an end plate on the right hand side, so he's done the same thing. Well, he has pretty much the same damage as BK now does the Prema driver, even potentially worse. So unfortunately for Plebs, I was just about to say, he's looking good here to potentially start on pole position for the sprint race, but doesn't look like that's going to happen now, because he's now going to get overtaken most likely by the gaming wafer, and he's not going to finish in the points. So Prema's any chances or hopes of getting points here this afternoon have completely gone out the window in a couple of laps, in the space of a couple of laps.
Yeah, it's a real shame for them there. Plebs had started, obviously ran deep earlier when he was fighting for, I think, like 6th position, and he just made his way back up, but another costly error there, and unfortunately I think you'll see Gaming Wafer is moving past here into 10th position, so this is really going to hurt the Prema cars, sitting 11th and 12th now, so that's not what you want to see as a team. First to the people who don't get points.
Yeah, so it's definitely not the best thing to come home to. But obviously his teammates actually are going to catch up to him here, I believe. There's 4.8 seconds between the two Premas, but there's 2 laps remaining. They are on the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. So let's go up to the top here. So Todster leads away by 5.1 seconds at the moment. Pure Gold's in P2. Spilly in P3, who's got a 5-second penalty he has to owe. So at this stage, he's going to drop the P4 at P4. Yes, he will. So Crossy will be pushed up onto the podium. Spilly in P3. Sorry, will come home P4 at this stage. Toes Rudy's got 12 seconds behind. So unfortunately, I'm not too sure what's happened to that Carlin car, but he's unfortunately just had no pace on those mediums. So that's unfortunate for him. And he's looked like he was on for a potential, even like a battle for the podium here, but he's now running a pretty lonely race in P5. Jay Schmidt's in P6, also in the same boat. Kickbutt QE in 7th. Breno 8th. P9 is the Gaming Wafer, and rounding out your top 10, who does actually have front wing damage, is BK. And he's put in the wall. He just missed the wall there to BK. He was a millimetre away from hitting that wall there. He does have front wing damage as well, so Crossy's now got himself up into P3 as well. So if I was Spilly, I'd probably just stay put where I am at the moment, just so I don't risk anything. And actually, who's that? I think Tots has made a mistake. Actually, no, that's a lap car. Never mind. Sorry, that's Sidepod, who's now been overtaken by Pure God. So he will be the only lap driver in this Grand Prix, as Totsa does start the final lap of the Grand Prix. At this stage, he will start P8. Now, Spilly's actually fighting him back here. So Spilly now into P3. Obviously, he does have that 5-second penalty, but I think Banana's pretty much predicted it. Oh, he's hit him! Crossy's hit him! So Crossy made contact there. Spilly broke really early there heading into that corner. So is that a potential brake check there? And Dr. Dre disqualified. Oh, okay, so he didn't. So Dr. Dre hasn't used the 2 compounds. Did Dr. Dre even pit?
Yeah, so I think, no, he did pit. But I believe that he started on the medium tyres and obviously wanted to go for a long stint. So he stayed on those medium tyres and hasn't used his second set of tyres. So definitely not a good showing there for the Prema cars. Although Plebs has moved in front of BK now. But he needs to make a 5-second gap on this last lap. Otherwise, it's still not going to be a point for him.
Yeah, so also, if you can quickly check for us as well, Wafer, so Jack Gills reckons Wafer has a couple of penalties, so if you're able to confirm that for us, that would be good.
Yes, Wafer does have the, so after what happened, he did get a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And then, yeah, he also got a 3-second penalty as well. I believe it was just from exceeding track limits.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. But Todsa, now on the main front straight, he's going to win the feature race here. No, feature race? Yes, it is a feature race. So Totsa wins the first race here in Baku for Vitersi. Congratulations to himself. Pure Gold will come home P2 for Dams. Spilly will come home P3 on track, but unfortunately with that time penalty, Crossy will now jump him to round out the podium. Spilly will be pushed back down to P4. P5 will be Toes Rudy. Oh, Jesus Christ. Carlin in P5. Jay Schmidt will come home P6 for the Sauber team. Now, who is Schmidt battling with? I can't even remember now. Who is he having that real...
Schmidt's on it.
Oh, Game Wafer. That's
Toddy,
right.
yeah.
So, unfortunately, Game Wafer did get that damage, and they tried to go side-by-side in the pit lane, if you guys don't remember or weren't here to see that. They tried to go side-by-side in the pit lane, and unfortunately, Gaming Wafer got reset to track because he spun around in the pit. So, yeah, that's what happened to Wafer. So, Schmidt will come home P6, Kickbuck Kiwi in P7 ahead of Breno. Gaming Wafer will come home P9, and it looks like Plebs will take home a point here for Prema. So, that will be the first point on the board for himself and the Prema team. So, congratulations to them. This season, they'll be wanting to convert that over as well to their sprint race later on this afternoon. BK will come home P11 to Lunacy in P12 ahead of his teammate in P13 of Romeo Alonso. P14 coming down the main straight now will be Iceman CS13 for, I believe that's Trident? I'm not too sure. I don't have any idea.
That is I think that's ART.
It is ART, that's right, because Crossy's ART. No, what's Crossy?
Wafer.
Actually,
Crossy is the Sauber.
See, Crossy's on my screen. Crossy's looks the exact same as Gaming Wafer last time.
Dark, yeah.
They really. I wish they fixed that. But.
I will just butt in for a second. Gaming Wafer, this is pretty costly for him. So those penalties, not only have they cost him 8th spot in this race, but they have cost him pole position for the next race. So he did cross the line in 8th after passing Breno down that final straight, but with those penalties he's going to be starting 9th, and Breno's going to be starting on pole position for that sprint race. So just for his championship, it's not really been a good day for him. Obviously we did see a little bit of a collision with him and Schmidt early on, and then obviously the incident with the pit lane. But yeah, so bit of a tough day so far for him.
Unfortunately, Alex got another puncture on the final lap, so it's been a very unfortunate race here for the Campos team. One driver down in P16, I can't remember where the other one was, but we'll read out your provisional results now for the feature race. We'll be swapping over very soon in about 5 minutes time to the sprint race, where Breno will start on pole position for Dams. But congratulations to our top 3 podium getters here of Todster, Crossy and Pure Gold. For Vitersi, Dams, and Sauber. We'll swap it over now to the results tab for you guys. And as you can see, Todster took home the win. 27 points he got in the end. So congratulations to himself. Pure Gold will come home P2 for Dams ahead of Crossy, Spilly. Toes Rudy will come home P5 for Carlin. Schmidt P6. Kickbutt Kiwi 7th. Breno in P8. P9 Gaming Wafer. Unfortunately for Plebs, he managed to get his first point this season in the top 10, so congratulations to him. But he does also have a little question mark next to his name after that little incident with BK, but we unfortunately didn't get it on stream, but we'll have to see what happened. BK will come home P11 though for Campos, so both Camposes out of the points there for the feature race, but hopefully they can turn that over for the sprint race. Then it'll be the 2 Arden drivers of Lunacy and Romeo Alonso in P12 and 13, Iceman 14th, then the race of 15th. Alex in P16 and Sidepod down in P17, who was a lap down, and unfortunately for Dr. Dre, he did get disqualified from the Grand Prix after failing to use 2 different tyre compounds. So we'll have to see. What's your predictions here for the next race, Kevin?
Well, obviously we've seen Todster's pace there, so I think we'll see him come back through. I think Spilly will definitely want to make amends for what happened with that speeding and pit lane penalty, and obviously starting just that little bit in front of the main rivals there should help him out. But yeah, so there's a few runners that I think will get up there. It's always good to see when the reverse kind of front 8 grid happens. Definitely spices it up. Now, I just want to add some information on what happened with Dr. Dre there. He did start on the super soft tyres, but was still disqualified for apparently not using both compounds. So I'm not sure if there is a ruling on whether you're not allowed to pit and change tyres on the first lap, but yeah, I'm very unfortunate for him because he definitely would have been looking to fight for those last points.
Yeah, okay, so we're just getting I'm just reading the chat at the moment. So Dr. Dre, as you just saw there, did get he just said that he got disqualified when he used both compounds. Clevs seems to be a little bit angry at BK at the moment, so I'm not too sure what's wrong with him there, but BK claims that he had orange wing damage when that maneuver was taking place. So unfortunately, I think that will be sent to the steward, so we'll have to see what they think of it. But I believe the drivers are now out on track for their formation lap. As you can see on your screens now, Breno will lead or start on pole position. Alongside him will be the other Vitersi driver, Kickbutt Kiwi, so he'll be wanting to do the same as what his teammate Todster did in that previous race. He'll want to try and bring it home. Schmidt's in P3 for... Oh, Jesus. I always get this wrong. I just forget this car. It's always this car.
That's the Sauber one.
Sauber and the ARTO. They both look the same from this angle, so it's complete...
It's because... I think it's mainly because Sauber in the F1 is more towards what the Gaming Wafers ART car is, that colour. Yeah. So definitely it is hard to adjust and sort of get it right all the time. There's a few colours that are like close to each other, like Lunacy and Alonso in that. I think they're in the VW Arden cars. Yeah, they are. And then that's the other car I can't remember. Dan the Racer's team. MP, I believe. MP Motorsport.
And then also the two Camposses of Alex and BK, because they're pretty much just orange. So here we have Banana Cake Pie. Race 2 prediction from the Banana. P1 reckons pure gold. Jay Schmidt in P2 and P3. I reckon Schmidt. I'm going to predict Schmidt. I reckon Schmidt's going to win this race pretty comfortably, to be honest.
I am going to believe the exact same thing there. I think Schmidt kind of got caught out there with that incident and obviously losing his wing. So I think he's starting further up the grid than where he would have finished in that last race. I think he would have probably been fighting for that sort of fourth or fifth kind of position there. So it'll be interesting to see, but I think you're right. I think Schmidt is going to get the jump here. Now, all the drivers should be obviously on that medium tyre since it is the sprint race. So 11 laps rather than obviously 12 laps last week in Bahrain. So 1 lap shorter but a longer distance. And yeah, so a couple of cars have been reset to the grid already after a collision. I'm not too sure who it was.
Unfortunately, Zach Crane hasn't joined either, so he unfortunately wasn't able to make it. So that's unfortunate for himself. He'll not be taking home any points this afternoon. I'll confirm for what car he's in. I've already forgotten. He is in the...
he's in the Carlin.
Carlin, that's right.
I believe, with Toes Rudy. But Toes Rudy did have a really good race in that first one. Unfortunately, did fall off once they did have the pit stops. But considering it's only a one-car team tonight, definitely good to bring home some points.
Yeah, definitely. But we're now waiting for the light sequence to begin now. Green flags have been waved at the rear of the grid, waiting for the race director to begin the light sequence, as they are now starting to rev up the cars. 5 red lights for the sprint race, and we are underway. Very quick start there, and it looks like Breno's got a very nice launch there compared to the Kickbutt Kiwi. Heading into turn 1, he's going to take the lead, is Breno, and it looks like Schmidt's going to go up into P2. Spilly's already up into P3, so he didn't jump that start, did he? He definitely didn't jump the start.
No. Into the first corner, he definitely had a lunge around the outside, and everyone on the inside kind of was a bit tentative, so very good move, and that is really worked out for him there.
So he's up into the top 3 now, is Spilly. Kickbutt Kiwi's been pushed back down to P4. He's going side by side now with the Gaming Wafer, heading into turn 3, and it looks like the car behind them as well. Pure Gold's really struggling to put the traction down. You can see he turns in on him there, does Kickbutt Kiwi. Doesn't leave the Gaming Wafer much room on the apex of turn 4 there. He's going to head into turn 6. They're still side by side, and it looks like he's going to hold on to the position there. Is Kickbutt Kiwi in P4. So Todster's also got himself ahead of Pure Gold, so that's pretty good there for Todster at the start. So he's on the medium tyres, so all these drivers should be on the mediums as well, but we could potentially see some drivers come into the pits as well and go onto those softs later on in the race. We'll have to see what they opt to do, but at the moment Breno leads the way. He's got 0.5 of a second between himself and Schmidt, but we'll have to see what Spilly does as well. He's going to be really quick, so this could be a little battle here between Schmidt and Spilly if those two can pull away.
Yeah, and another thing, Gaming Wafer moved up, well, he was into 4th at that point, but had that little battle with Kickbutt there, so he is up into 5th. So up 4 positions from where he started, so pretty good on his half, but once again, another person like Schmidt who
Sorry, there's a massive pile up here, and we have a safety car now.
Safety
There's
car.
5 or 6 cars here. So Dr. Dre to Lunacy, Iceman, down the race, a side pod. Alex, Romy, Alonso, I think got out of it. But yeah, all those cars from 13 down to Alex, side pod, down the race, Dr. Dre to Lunacy and Iceman all got caught up. We just saw there, when we swapped to the rear, Dr. Dre was in the wall on that, heading into that corner, and then I swapped to another view, and you can see there was a massive pile up. Lunacy was facing the wrong way. So a lot of these drivers will be in the pits this lap, so they will be putting on most likely another set of mediums at this stage if they have another set free. But Breno will lead the way heading onto the second lap. Obviously, we are under safety car conditions here during the sprint race here for the PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series.
Yeah, so obviously with an early safety car, it's not really going to... no one's really going to be able to dive into the pits and get onto a faster tyre as such. It's still too long for those super softs to last, I believe. Even if it was to end on, say, lap 4 this safety car. But yeah, so we've got a few cars. Obviously, Toes Rudy has unfortunately lost 6 spots on that first lap. He was starting in 4th spot and he's down to 10th. And obviously, 10th doesn't pay any points in this race, so he's really going to have to make a late charge here. We did see him, and once again, it is those medium tyres. Once again, he struggled on them in that first race, and looks like it's happened again here.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we'll have to see how he goes with this strategy. But Breno, for Dams, is doing a pretty nice job at the moment. He's got Schmidt and Spilly right behind him, and we're going to want to... Well, I think Schmidt really will want to put a car between himself and Spilly and try and edge that gap out, because safety car will... DRS will not be available at this stage till 3 laps after the safety car comes in. So safety car's probably going to be out for another lap here, and I think it should be in the next lap. We'll have to see if the cars can catch up to the rear of the grid of Iceman, Dr. Dre, Lunacy, down the race, a side pod, and all those guys. Side pod's actually stayed out here, so side pod mustn't have got any damage, unless he's just continuing on. He doesn't... Well, he wants to favour track position. He does have damage to that right end plate, so I'm not too sure why he didn't pit there. It's kind of a free pit stop, but now he's going to drop to the rear of the grid, so not too sure what his thinking is there. We'll have to see how he goes, but he's really going to struggle here with that without having a right end plate on that car.
Yeah, one thing I'm very interested to see up the front here is those two new Virtuosi drivers. Obviously, last race had a bit of a moment. I believe it was in the sprint race as well. So, will there be team orders? Will there be an easy overtake here for Todster to get through and fight towards the front? Because obviously, with what happened at the start, Spilly and Schmidt, I believe, are still his main rivals in this championship. It will be close. I think Todster might have actually jumped into the lead of the championship after that first race. But it'll be interesting to see here. We've got the Dams driver of Breno in front, and whether he helps Pure Gold down his 7th out by either holding cars up or making it as hard as possible. But I think you'll kind of see them race their own kind of race until definitely. Later in the race, definitely.
Yeah, I think the only people that we could see work together, but obviously these two don't have the best relationship, as you said, Kickbutt Kiwi and Todster. After that little incident in Bahrain, it was definitely Todster's fault, but I don't think... I think they just decided not to give each other any penalties. I think they just let it off, to be honest. It was the first race.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. It's the first race, and those things do happen. Better off not having arguments and not setting the team back, especially when you are teammates. You don't want to be sending out penalties to
each other.
Yeah.
So those two at the moment have the gaming wave in between them. So we'll have to see if those two do work together and Kickbutt Kiwi, potentially even letting Todster ahead. But Todster's ready to go, as you just saw there. He's getting alongside gaming wave. He's starting to we're just trying to annoy him a little bit, just trying to get in his head here. But we'll have to see here. So Jack Gill's looking way far. I'm assuming that's at the start. And Bodhod, good comms lads. Thanks, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and we have got 3 drivers that from that first incident that have pitted and jumped onto the super softs. Oh, we've had a big moment there for Spilly. He got Spilly. He got a lot of power on the rear coming out of that corner and lost it, but luckily saved it before he hit the wall.
So Stipod's got a penalty. Sorry, he's got a 10-second penalty. I just saw him there. I think he made contact with someone. I can't remember who. But as I was flickering in between each other, I thought I saw a car that made contact with someone, and it was Sidepod. So Will we see the safety car in this lap? It
Yeah,
should
he's
be...
lost both end plates as well. Now.
Has he?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a shame for him, considering he didn't pit earlier for that new front wing, and this is really going to cost him, because he is going to have to duck into the pits.
The safety car's staying out another lap, so he should be able to this lap if he is smart.
Yeah, that's a real saviour.
Yeah, so Tolunacy's still not at the back of this pack. We've seen that safety cars tend to stay out all the way until the whole field kind of gets to the rear, or the whole field bunches up, so it's kind of fair for everyone. But I think we will see SidePod in the pits this lap. Yeah, we will. As you can see him now pulling off into the pit lane. And who else is that also pulling off in the pits? It's Plevs, is it? Yeah, it is Plevs. So the Prema driver must have got damage as well. So not too sure what the go is with him.
He might try and jump onto those super softs as well here.
Could be. We'll have to see.
Because, yeah, by the time this race gets underway, it'll be lap 5. So it might not be too bad. He's going to have to push those for 6 or 7 laps, but
shouldn't be too bad.
You never know. You never know. We haven't seen him go that long, but if he thinks he can do it, definitely worth a risk, I reckon.
Well, he has just gone in. He didn't change his front wing there to Plev, so he's just genuinely gone onto those tyres. So what did Iceman followed him in? He's in the super softs, and SidePod is gone onto the super softs as well. So these three are going to be rapid towards the end of the race. So they need to also catch up, because I think the safety car will most definitely come in this lap. So we'll have to see. Breno's ready to go. As you can see, he's trying to make the safety car go a little bit quicker here, I believe. But yeah, thank you guys also so much for joining the stream as well. If you guys are new around here, please do hit that subscribe button. Thank you guys so much as well for not only 500 subs, we've now hit 550 in like a week. So we went last week, we were at 500, now we're up to 550. So that's a pretty good job. Thank you guys so much for subscribing. It's been a massive achievement for everyone at Spec to get to that 500. So thank you guys so much. But Breno is ready to go, as I've said about 15 times already. Schmidt's right behind him. He's trying to get some heat into the tyres now. Is that Sauber car? We'll have to see how this restart goes, if everyone can try and keep it clean as well.
Yeah, I was just about to say the same thing. I think it's going to be... It's always a difficult one to restart here, because especially for a few of them, yeah, obviously safety car in this lap as we expected. But yeah, coming onto this front straight, it's a hard one to know when to go and when obviously not to go, because you just bunch yourself up, and if you go too early, then you're going to lose a lot of positions, because it's a long way to that first corner from where the safety car line is.
He's gone now, has Breno. So he's already floored it. He's gone real early here. The safety car's not even in the pit lane yet. But the damn driver is gone. I think that is way too early, to be honest. But Schmidt obviously cannot overtake
this is going to be carnage.
You cannot overtake until you cross the start-finish line, and he's actually backed off again. Okay, so Breno's going to be in trouble here, 100%. Because he did back out of that very late. So I think Breno's going to be in a bit of trouble here for an infringement of safety car restart. So as you can see now, Spilly's actually got a move done on Schmidt. So that's really hurt Schmidt here. He will not be happy whatsoever with what Breno just did. It looked like a little bit of a brake check, to be honest, from the Dams driver, but I don't think it was intentional. But Spilly now looks like he's going to try and get a move here done on Breno. He's going to go to the outside line, heading into turn 3. Will he get the job done? They both lock the inside tyres. And he's going to hold on in there. Spilly's going to swap to the inside line.
In the background as well.
Heading into... He's continued on though, so... Yeah, so unfortunately for Dan the Race, he's now dropped all the way back down to P18 for MP Motorsport. So he's pretty much doing a Ragunathan at the moment, is Dan the Racer. Down in last place. Yes. I don't get what you're saying, Alchaz. Oh, okay, no, I do now.
He spelled it wrong.
Yeah, no, I don't know if that's an I or a capital I. Actually, there's a couple of drivers off, sorry. Who's that off? Kick by Kiwi. Went down the escape road there, so unfortunately he's dropped down to P9 now. Has Kick by Kiwi. He's getting sent out down the inside by Toes Rudy. Wasn't able to get the job done, but it looks like now Pure Gold's got himself up into P5. Game away for P4, and there's yellow flags at the rear that looks like it's Iceman down in P18, so he's put it in the wall there, so he definitely has front wing damage. So yeah, you definitely spelled that wrong, Alcatraz. I don't know if you just did a capital I or a lowercase L. I'm not sure.
It's a lowercase L. He was trying to write loser, but yeah, he spelled it wrong.
Oh, he did. He spelled Losr. Okay. Losra. Losray. Loser, eh?
Now I'm the biggest loser. Yeah,
biggest loser,
unfortunately, Alcatraz, I feel sorry for you. You did get finessed by YouTube right there.
Yeah, definitely. Holy shit. Yeah. But anyways, back to the battle. Breno's starting to form a Breno train here, to be honest. Spilly, Jay Schmidt, and Wafer all right behind him, and now the pack of pure gold behind them are also starting to catch up. There's yellow flag in sector 2. Who's that going round? That is Dan the Racer again for MP Motorsports. So he's continuing the trend of Mahavir Raghunathan. I think we're in the cup. Yeah, so he's down in P7.
Oh, and a change for the lead here before the DRS.
Oh, there is. So they nearly made contact. That is Spilly. You can see they were both sideways.
He did hang on to it though, Breno there. I didn't expect him to, but this is all going to play into the hands of Gaming Wafer and Schmidt, I reckon here. Gaming Wafer's got a really nice run.
Heading down the main straight, Gaming Wafer, and now they make contact there. Now Schmidt, they're going to go 4 wide. Here, by the looks of it, are they going to force the... They are going to go 4 wide. Oh, okay, I don't know. Okay, they're 4 wide heading into turn 1. Who is the inside line, it looks like? And Schmidt, do they make contact? No, they don't. So that is Gaming Wafer now comes out of the lead. He was in P3, and now look at this. Schmidt's trying to go down the inside of Spilly, and he's going to get the job done. So now Spilly has got 3 positions there in the space of 2 corners, and now he's actually trying to fight back now. There's Spilly, there's a yellow flag down the back. We'll check that in a second. Spilly's trying to squeeze Jay Schmidt here, heading in the braking zone. He's deep on the brake zone. Here's Schmidt. Will he be able to hang it around the outside? He gets forced off. There, nearly does Jay Schmidt, but he's going to hold it there. There, you really can't hold it around the outside. He can spill it in. He's not going to get it done now. The Vitesse driver, Tots, is going to get both moves done here, I think.
Oh.
No, he's not. He's going to go around the outside of Spilly, but it obviously will swap to the inside line when you get to this next right-hander, side by side. And Spilly's really hurt here. Now he's been dropped all the way back down to P5, and Pure God's also trying to get a move done. Down the inside he goes. This is for P5. Cuts the corner. Spilly didn't leave him much room. They're going to go side by side now, heading into the castle section. And they just
Spilly's
get
really holding
there.
it aggressive there. But I think he needed to, obviously, to keep that track position because he's really been bumped around a lot. He was second coming onto that final straight and was looking like he might even take the lead at one point.
Okay, so I think Alex and Romeo Alonso just got in a crash as well. As Romeo Alonso does not have a left end plate, I believe. He does not. So, and Romeo Alonso,
right.
so Alex was also stopped heading into the castle section. So, I think those two may have made contact. So, Iceman and Dan the Racer also swapping positions, but Dan the Racer now has just let him go. And he's actually got wing damage here as Dan the Racer. So, unfortunately for him, he's going to have to come into the pits.
Another thing to take note on, Plevs on those super softs up to 10th spot now, and pushing what will look for 8th position. There's going to be like a 3 wide here, I reckon, down the straight.
Who's going to get it done? It looks like Kickbutt. Is this Kickbutt Kiwi here as well? It is. So Kickbutt Kiwi, Plevs, and Toes Rudy. I think it is. No, it's not. It's is that Crossy? So Plevs, Crossy, and Kickbutt Kiwi. Sorry, are going to go at it for the battle of P8. And it looks like Plevs is trying to hang it around the outside of Toes Rudy. He's going to have that extra grip, so that will help him. He's going to try and do it here, but it's very risky. Obviously, the inside line is where you want to be. Does he force him out into the... Well, he doesn't, so he gives him nice room there. Does Crossy... I'm surprised that Pleb still hasn't got that move done, but he's got a better run heading down the straight. Who's going to get it done? They're going to go 3 wide now. Heading into this corner, the Vitesse driver tries to stick his nose down there. They don't make contact. So now Kickbutt Kiwi's pushed back down to P10. Pleb's now up into the points.
Yeah, and back up front, a little bit of contact between Breno and Toddster there. And it's unfortunately hurt Toddster. He's lost another position to Spilly. Trying to kind of hang it around the outside, but he definitely did have a good run. Oh, he's just run into the back of Spilly as well there. But yeah, I think Breno is starting to drop off the pace here. So these guys are going to want to get through really quick because Gaming Wafer and Schmidt are definitely pulling away.
So, just to check as well, am I still echoing? Okay, so I was about to mute my mic and just say I'm echoing because I can hear myself going through twice, and I think, is your mic real close to your headset? Oh, sorry, Breno and Spilly are gone! Breno hard into the wall, heading into that left-hander. Okay, it's very hard to speak when I can hear myself twice, but anyway. Yeah, so Spilly, I think that was completely Breno's fault. Yeah, okay, it's good now. Yeah, I can't hear myself. That's better. You there?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
I just wanted to make sure it was right.
yeah, cool. So Spilly now I'm not too sure, but they definitely went side by side. And I think it looked like Spilly actually came across on Breno there So I think he will have damage here. Will the Trident driver? Totsa pretty easily got that move done. Up into the podium now goes the Vitersi driver. He's going to try and get the move back done is Spilly, but he wasn't deep enough under brake. So unfortunately for Breno, he's going to have massive front wing damage on that damn Sky. He was looking good for a potential top 5 here this afternoon. Pure Gold's trying to get a move done now on the Trident in front of him is Spilly. Spilly was real tail happy on the exit of that second corner. And now Breno's been overtaken by Kickbutt Kiwi. And I think Breno has massive damage. Has really heavy contact there heading into that corner. He does not have a right end plate there. So unfortunately for him, he's going to really struggle for the remainder of this Grand Prix.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for your race 2 pole sitter. It just either it goes your way or it doesn't sometimes around this track, and obviously going into that corner, 2 cars will definitely not fit into it, and it's really cost him a good chance at some really good points there. One thing I am looking at though, Plevs had made it up into 6th spot, but once again, as we saw in race 1, BK and Plevs having a nice little battle here. Obviously we know things are getting pretty heated at the moment between the two of them, so be interesting to see what happens here. Obviously two different tyres, Plevs on those super softs and BK on those mediums.
So Plevs is up into P7 now, so let me confirm that for you. I'll check what points that is. I've already forgot. So this is the sprint race. I believe BK's nearly put in the wall there, so Plevs is going to have a much better run here, but I think Plevs is just going to wait for DRS just to be safe. But it actually looks like is it raining? I'm not sure. On my screen it looked like there's a bit of rain showing up on my screen, but
not what I can see, but I can definitely see a lot of clouds.
Yeah, so at the moment, Plevs is in P7, so he will take home 2 points. But if he gets up ahead of BK for P6, he will take home 4 points. And Sidepod's also swapping positions here. He's now got himself ahead of Lunacy, but Lunacy's also going to go side by side. We'll go back up to this battle with Plevs and BK. He's going to get that move done pretty easy. Is the Prima driver. And Crossy's also going to try and make a double move here. No, he's not. So he also got ahead of BK there. But we're going to go back to this battle here between Lunacy, Sidepod, Breno and Dr. Dre. And it looks like Dr. Dre's come out best of that, but he's got a very poor run there on the exit of turn 2 to Lunacy. He's going to try and go back down the inside, but he's going to wait for DRS here. Here's the Arden driver. He's very tail happy, but he's nearly in the wall there with Sidepod. He did hit the wall, so he's going to have more front wing damage now. Is Sidepod. I'm starting to hear myself again, so hopefully we can fix that. But Breno is now dropped all the way back down to P14, Iceman P15, then it's Mahavir Raghunathan down in P16, and then Romeo Alonso 17th, and unfortunately one retirement from this session, Romeo Alonso down in P17. We're actually in the penultimate lap, I just realised that.
Yeah, it's real close finishing. Is the mic better?
Test? It's quieter. I'll live with it, it'll be right. Banana just needs to stop complaining in the chat, so...
Oh, we've had a spin there for Spilly. Coming up through the castle section, he's absolutely creamed it into the wall, and he's lost 2 spots and a lot of his wing.
So this is really good for
definitely
players.
Not something you want to do on the penultimate. Yeah. I don't know if Pure Gold did collect him on the way through or not. I didn't quite see. So hopefully there's no damage there for Pure Gold, because he has stuck it pretty clean the rest of this race, and he's looking for another top 4 here.
Pure Gold's in P4 at the moment. Do you want to quickly check as well to see what penalties the top 4 has for us real quick as well, if you don't mind?
Yeah, definitely.
So Gaming Wafer has 2.7 seconds. Sorry, you go.
You're all good. No penalties from any of the top 4. Pure Gold has got 2 warnings though, so he's the only one that's really close.
Yeah. Okay, so they now all start the final lap of the Grand Prix, and now Plebs has got himself up into P5 now ahead of Spilly, so I don't think Spilly will put up too much of a fight here because he doesn't have any front wing on that car. He's going to have to try and bring it home. Even potentially, I don't think he'll be able to score any points here because BK's just trying to catch up to the rear of that pack now, and he is currently in P8. So now Sidepod and has dropped more positions here. I think him and Lunacy have made contact. So Sidepod and Lunacy have run into each other heading down the main straight, so I'm not too sure what happened there. Sidepod's actually redressed the position, I think, so may have been Sidepod's fault there. I'm not too sure what's happened between those two.
Yeah, it looks like obviously Sidepod realised he was probably at fault for that, and has let Lunacy back past. But there you go, he's just lost it into the wall again, Lunacy there. So obviously the wing damage and really old super soft tyres aren't helping those guys out. They're all over the place here. I'm really surprised by the fact that Dre is still going. He's been on those super softs for 9 laps now. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see if he can make it to the end of this lap with no punctures.
So Mahavir Raghunathan is now into the pits on the last lap of the Grand Prix, so not too sure what his strategy go is, but the Gaming Wafer now heads through turn 18 and turn 19 of the Baku City Circuit.
Battle here for second spot.
Actually,
this is going to be close
between Todso and Schmidt. So they're going to go. He's going to have
DRS.
I don't think he's going to get it. Actually, it's going to be close because Toddy's actually already catching. He doesn't have DRS yet. He's going to open DRS right about now, and I think Schmidt's going to hold on to it. Actually, so Gaming Wafer will come home in P1, Schmidt P2, P3 will be Todso, Pure Gold will come home P4 in the end for Dams, and then P5 will be Plevs. That strategy working for him in the end on that super soft tyre. Crossy will come home P6 out of Kickbutt Kiwi, BKXI in P8, P9. Spilly's in the wall. He's completely rage quit, and unfortunately for him, he will not score any points here this afternoon in the sprint race. Tojariti will come home P10, P11 Breno, unfortunately after that contact with Spilly. So Spilly has a couple of question marks next to his name after
I was right
that race.
About Dre as well. Dre has gotten a puncture on this last lap, and he's creeping towards the finish line now.
Yeah,
finishes in P12 with that puncture, but
yeah,
pretty entertaining race. I think when they went 4 wide on that straight, yeah, exactly, that's it.
That's not bad. But Iceman will come home P13. Sidepod will come home P14 ahead of the 2 Arden drivers of Romeo Alonso and Tolunacy. And Dan the Racer, Mahavir Raghunathan, we're still waiting on. He's still heading through the second sector. So we're going to be waiting a little while. He's lifting off through a flat out corner. So it's nothing new for himself.
Let's hope he doesn't go down one of those escape roads again.
Yeah.
We'll be here for another week. We might miss next week's race.
Exactly. So I got a race. I got to go to soon. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's 10 minutes until that starts, and there's a lot of drivers in here that are in that race.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So they're all gonna be waiting. We need to also read out the overall results from the weekend as well. So
but we can't.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see.
Come on, Mahavir.
Yeah, he comes up to the line. Make sure he doesn't brake on the straight, or get a puncture, or run down. Oh, he's actually boxing again. Oh, he thought about boxing. So that's another penalty. Cross the pit lane entry line. So that's another penalty for Raghunathan. So he'll come home P17, his best result this season. Congratulations, mate. Yeah, so that has been your Race Spec F1 Esports PS4 Formula 2 Pacific Series. Congratulations to our top 3 podium, but we're going to skip this because I have stuff I have to do, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're running short on time with that late, little delayed start there.
Okay, so we're going to go to weekend now. So it looks like Todster is going to win the overall weekend. 39 points. He actually had a pretty comfortable lead. Over 10 points separated himself and Pure Gold in the end for Dans. So Todster, congratulations to him on winning the overall weekend. Pure Gold will come home P2. Schmidt P3. Crossy P4. P5 will be the Gaming Wafer. P6 Spilly ahead of the Carlin driver of Tojariti in P7, who will take home 10 points. Kickbutt Kiwi P8. P9 Plevs. And rounding out your top 10 will be Breno for Dan's. P11 BK, who will be the last driver that will take home a point here for his championship. Dr. Dre P12, Iceman 13th, Sidepod 14th, Romeo Alonso 15th, Tolunacy 16th, Raghunathan 17th, 18th will be Alex 96NZ. But thank you guys so much for watching the stream this afternoon. Thank you as well, Curving, for joining me in the commentary box. It's been a pleasure having you, and hopefully you can join us again next week in the commentary box.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed it tonight. Some fun moments. Won't lie there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, a real pleasure to work alongside you again tonight. And obviously we'll be back for round 3 in...
We'll confirm that for you right now.
Somewhere.
Yep.
Spain?
Give me 1 second. I think it is. I think you're correct. Give me 5 seconds. I'll confirm that for you. So round 3 will be the Spanish Grand Prix. So join us next week, Friday, 7 o'clock on the Race Spec channel for the next round. But thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you again, Curving, for joining me in the commentary box. And my name is Exprit, and I will see you guys next time.